Hey guys, Wheatywaffle here today, and we are back in Waffle County, and I've loaded the wrong game. Wait a second, where's our Home Depot? I think I fixed it. Here's our beautiful Home Depot. I did not have any issues loading this time, which is wonderful news. And today, we're going to jump right in. I really would like to start working on some factories and industry, mainly because we've built some really beautiful stuff, and it looks great. This button, I can move this button now. I'm gonna pop that right there. I don't need you to open. You can just stay over there. You can stay over here too, frankly. We can just put every button kind of over. Okay, you can go. Let's confirm that I do in fact have random disasters on at 75. Beautiful. What we're going to work on today and what I am most interested in doing is some factories, mainly because we are hitting a point where I can't really build much else without industry, and I don't want to just zone regular industry because part of the joy of this series is building some like really fun, funky buildings. Like the Stadium District looks so good because of the buildings that are here. And this new Home Depot area next to Middle Grounds Park looks so good because this building is big and unique and fun. So I would like to recreate that by building some factories. I'm interested potentially in building some ore here, or like at the bottom of the hill, but I know that this is supposed to be, I can feel it in my bones, this is supposed to be industry. Let's go for a little bit of ore painting. And we're gonna just, oh, it's sandy. Okay. Was not expecting sandy, but I'll take it. Okay. Not terrible. I do think I want just a bit over on this side. Or what do we have here right now? We've got a waste processing complex, we have a waste transfer facility, and then we have 3 power stations, as well as the Hyundai car dealership, which still needs a few workers, but I mean, all in all, looks pretty fun right there on the edge. Now, my biggest concern that I'm going to have with this area is the connections, just because this is our only entrance here over to this side. So what I think, oh my god, disasters are back on when everything is just catching on fire. That's how I should have known that disasters were off before. Nothing was on fire. Everything looked beautiful. I'm interested in potentially adding in a little bit of an interchange here that is purposely built to feed the factory industry section. So I think the best way for me to do this, because I've not played a lot, and instead of making you watch a bunch of failures, I'm going to jump into a time lapse and we're going to build a little interchange here that's going to feed kind of right over here into the factory area, in addition to the kind of current setup we already have. But I think we want to future-proof this just a bit. So let me get to that really fast. Okay, it took 51 minutes of like immense trial and error. We're gonna hit play, but I think I finally figured out how I want this set up. So we've pushed the highway back. I was trying to like shimmy it in here, but with the development we have and the limited space, I just don't think it's gonna work. What's kind of nice about this is it means that we can potentially expand Belmont a bit. But now we've got 2 dedicated entrances and exits for this area. I'm not in total love with this middle section where we've got an exit or an entrance and an exit and an entrance and an exit pretty close together back to back. But I think we're going to try to work with it for now. We're going to see how it goes. If it sucks or we just get tons of traffic issues in this spot, we can fix that later. I am going to just right off the bat, before we get any further, I think I know that I want this to be a 2-lane here in the middle. There's just no reason for us to have these extra lanes. So let's just ditch them before we forget. Okay, so now the other thing I want to do is for certain areas, which I've not done this before, but I was just kind of messing around when I was making my other interchange, and I really liked how this looked. So for certain areas, like this section here, for example, I don't want the traffic from the industry clogging up this entrance that presumably the people living in this area are going to use. So I'm giving them their own way to get onto this highway interchange. Now, granted, it moves the kind of traffic point from here to here, but I'm hoping that since it's kind of like there's a bit of a cadence there, where ideally, you know, one car's going in, one's going in, they'll have some time to separate from one another. One thing I don't like that I'm seeing is people are going directly through, but maybe that was just some old cars trying to figure their life out. We don't need to do that everywhere. For example, this exit, we don't need to do that. The exit can just be upgraded to have 2 lanes, which we are going to do right now. We're actually going to upgrade. We'll keep this above ground, or off the ground, but we're going to upgrade that pretty far back. This going into here, this going into here, that's wonderful. For this side here, again, we're going to do a quick little upgrade. That's going to have 2 lanes, so you can pick your side. For this one here, I'm not as concerned. It's a little bit tighter. There's not going to be a good way to do that. Also, I don't know why I did this little one-way situation. Figured we'd try it out. We'll see what we think. Down here, ideally, you're not going to be using this area. Or at least I hope that the congestion from the industry is not going to be using this area, but we don't know. So let me just quickly throw together some lane directions here. So you can go from there to there. You can go over to here. This can really go, you can't go either direction. So that way we're not cutting straight across, because I can't stand that. So I think that's enough road building. We've gotten pretty decent road coverage now. I'm going to move the district styles down this way. I need to make styles now, which is probably also why places are updating or upgrading. I'm realizing that because I had to change the district style mod I have, it might be shifting some of the styles we previously had into the base game ones. Also, I'm seeing another great connection here. Let's grab this road. Let's switch it down at this point just to a plain road. There's no need for it to be grass at this moment because nothing else is over here. We're going to send this straight across, switch it to a bridge, send it straight across, which that is not at all what we want. And then we're going to switch it back to the ground view. And I think we're going to go forward 7. And then this is going to kind of wiggle over to this point, which will connect to this road. Just kind of building out our connections here. Let's make sure all of this is at a decent height. I'm going to just grab the whole bridge, make it all the same height as this, but then we're also going to increase it a little bit. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's got a little bit of extra oomph to it. All right, so there's Olivia Bridge. Wonderful. This is connecting all the way down to here. That's great. Traffic is moving. I mean, it's going, so we're going to let it just keep doing its thing. What does our traffic actually look like for our city? 85. I will still take it. 85 is fantastic. All right, what we all came here for. Let's get going on this industry. I'm gonna remove this unnecessary district right now. It's gonna get a district soon, but I think that district is just gonna be the industry district versus something else. Okay, so let's do this whole section as an industry district, which I think means including this area as well. We'll bring it up and around, and then we're gonna come down to here. And I think that typically these kinds of things, these ore mines would not be, I think, so close to people, but at the same time, this really isn't that close. So I don't know if I'm that concerned about it. All right, so this is great. Let's actually bring it a bit further back. Let's go all the way up to the highway, up to here where it reconnects again, and then fill in that middle gap. Okay, so now we have Hickory Industrial Valley. Hickory Industrial Valley is going to be known for its ore. So I think with that in mind, I actually want to re-up this strength. Let's just really make sure we've got ample ore in this section, and then we'll work on fading it out later. But I really want to make sure we've got ore over here. Okay, there we go. So now this is the ore industry main building. It sets an unassigned industry area's type to ore industry and allows its level progression. It also works as the industry area's headquarters for city service vehicles. All right, so this guy, I imagine, would go kind of here near the front. And I actually don't mind the idea of it putting it right here on the corner of Fairview. Right there, which is unlock the small ore mine, the sand storage, and the ore grinding mill. So there's our little entrance building. It's very ugly. I'm not a fan. With that, we can now go ahead and build some small ore mines, which we're going to want to have positioned. I mean, in this area here, let's just look really fast. This area here is already flooded with pollution. So I think if we can kind of keep some of the pollution away from this water section, that would be great. But ground pollution doesn't affect the water, I don't believe. So we really shouldn't have much to worry about there. But let's think about our roads here. I'm thinking I want to have these ore mines a bit off from the main road. So I think that this would need to move over one off of that center line. Send it straight on back. And then we can have this here. This is producing 4,800 units per week. So let's do 1, 2. We can put some storage across the street for these individuals. And then I think we do the same thing. We can do the same thing right down here. So let's grab another road, send it straight on down. And then let's do 3 and 4. Now we need storage for this, so we're going to use the sand storage. So right now, this storage is going to be right across the street from the area producing, and this storage is going to be right across the street from the area producing, which is also gives me an opportunity here to put this road kind of along the backside here. Gives us some more places to build some stuff. They're going to need water, which we're doing okay on water right now, which is great news. Is that going to reach? Doesn't water, didn't I turn it on? So, oh no, power carries through the roads, not water. That's okay. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. So we've got, what is this again? Sand storage. We've got the mines. Now this is our ore grinding mill. Ore grinding mills take ore, raw materials, pushes them at the trough and grinder, blah, blah, blah. This can produce 3,200 units per week with 4 freight trucks. This is very polluting. Ideally, we want to keep it. I mean, this whole area can be loud. That's the whole point of this, is that this area is just obnoxiously loud. I don't want it off of this Davies Boulevard. And really, what is this street? Graham Street has, in a way, it used to be, I think, a more major road than it is now. But because we've removed kind of those highway connections, I think we've actually reduced that from being a main road. So we could put 2 of these off here, or we can try to fit them, I think, along this side. Of course, that's not right just yet. So let's come down to here and see if this is right. A little bit too big. But could we fit 2? We can't fit 2. I mean, we can force 2 in here. What does that look like? Does it make it look like one big facility? Kind of. I don't mind that. Because that also gives us the opportunity to put a fence back here and just kind of hide some of this. Oh, I apologize for all the jumping. I still have not truly figured out what was causing my frame rate drop, although being out of the city I think is helping a lot. So we're going to spend a little time out of the city. We've done a few episodes there, and I think just for the sake of me trying to troubleshoot, we're going to spend some time out here so that you guys have an enjoyable video to watch. Here, we don't want people falling. So I think this comes to here. Not that like they're ever going to do that, but it would go to there, curve this way, and then I think we're going to just go ahead and place a fence around this outer edge. It almost makes more sense for me to potentially move this ore mine back here, so it's across the street from those processing centers, or moving one, turn off anarchy, moving one over here. It's on the main road though, which isn't ideal. It's currently sitting in really prime areas for ore production, and we don't want that. So what if we do this? What if we send another road kind of straight on through to here? Gives us another little connecting point there. We could even think about doing something like this. I don't know if that's necessary. It does give us this double intersection, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but we could do that. Move one of our ore refineries over here. I think we throw on anarchy and we see, would that fit regardless? I think it's too big. Yeah, the back is too big, so we would have to really significantly move that road, and I don't want to do that. But why don't we place one of these here so it's a bit closer? So that's 18% full. That's already 21% full. You know what? I actually kind of want to move all this around. So hold on. We're gonna do that. We're gonna put these guys over here together. So all of those buildings are in one place. And I know this is a main road, but I think I'm gonna move this so that it's facing this direction. I know it's a main road. That's not really what we want to do. We might even rotate it, but I'm thinking this will actually go away. Once we get the next level, we'll replace this with a better one, and we can orient it off the main road instead of directly on it. But that's not too bad. We've got some decent production happening here. They can drive to here to drop it off. These people can drive it over to here, or they can drive it over this way, and we could potentially figure out another way to get that stuff used. I think I'm going to move this facility to a different location. I want it near the entrance here. Maybe we'll just have it here on this edge. I don't know what's happening with these roads, but we're just going to ignore it because they're still being used just fine. They're just getting a little funky. Road problems always make me nervous because it typically means like your game is breaking, and we hate that. We don't want that to happen. But then again, what am I supposed to do about it? Oh, another node just disappeared. Don't I have like a broken nodes thing? Please hold. Let's go to options. Broken node detector. Find broken nodes. Processing done. Great, nothing found. Okay. Find ghost nodes. Processing done. Great. Like, does this thing work? So we've got this moving and grooving. Where are we at? Hickory or extraction site, own product, import. Ooh, that's what I want to make sure we have here. So this is producing metals, which we need a place to store the metals. This is set to balance, can be imported at a cost, can be exported for money. If we set this to empty, it's going to collect all these goods. They'll go here, and then we'll just start selling those, which I think is what we want. This one I think can be balanced because we want this to be stocked so that people can drive over and drop off goods to these processing grinding mills. Now we're going to need something to hold the metals, and I wouldn't mind getting, see, a small warehouse is a bit small. Like I kind of want like a warehouse. I want like a building. And I wouldn't mind doing it across the street, actually. It basically fits here. Like we can pretend that that fits. I think that absolutely is classified as fitting. This I think we're gonna set to empty. So we're gonna set this to empty metals, but the metals are gonna go from here to here, and then they're gonna be emptied out, which is great. Can we fit a small one in here? No. We could fit one of the, not really. No, we can't fit this either. This holds how much? 400,000 units. How much does this hold? 250,000 units. I'm almost tempted, knowing that we're going to be producing other materials here as well. I'm almost tempted to put like just a few different little yards together. Like something like this. This will be set to empty and it will be our metals. So right now we're just going to sell the metals. As we produce them, they're going out. We can change this later when we actually have a use for the metals. But that also means that this area has just a few more services in it, which I think is useful. Do we have decent fire and police coverage over here, just in case things get reckless? No, our closest, we've got some stuff set up over here, something over there. We could use one in this area. So let's just do a small guy. Let's turn off anarchy and see if we can fit it kind of in here somewhere. We can fit one right here on the edge. Although that would kind of suck for those here because it's a very, very loud area. Or we could fit one down this way. I like fitting them along this road. It's kind of like the services road over here. So we'll stick one here. We can put a parking lot next to it. And then in terms of police, we probably need something too. So we'll stick one here. Which, like, they're a little off for some reason. I don't know why. Something's funky with the zoning there. And then let's get small parking lots. I think they're in here. Yep, beautiful. I'd love... We don't need to go all the way back. I think what we do is we put one on both sides. And then we move these together so that we're all in a line. Looks great. With that, this, I don't know if this pollutes or not. Like if I click on a polluting building, it doesn't really tell me. But if I click on this and hit move, it does have some pollution. So that's unfortunate. But I think we can get away with a few trees over here and it not be too big of a deal. Okay, so we're getting some good production here. What do we need to upgrade this area? Right now we have 118 workers, which is fantastic, and we need 500 produced resources. So we're going to let this run and get us to the next level of production here, and then we'll be back once we've reached level 2. All right, we have reached level 2, so area bonus plus 4% efficiency and pollution is minus 10%. We have unlocked ore industry workers barracks, industrial steel plant, glass manufacturing plant, ore storage, and small ore mine underground. All right, let's slow this puppy down. While we were waiting for this to reach the next level, I just filled in this area with some housing, nothing exciting or fancy. Just slapped down some housing, gave it some pipes, and some trees. But now this little area is filled out, and I extended Belmont. So now the Belmont district fully encompasses this area as well. Let's go ahead and empty that guy. And you know what? Before we jump into these new buildings, I think we probably need... Yeah, we definitely need some better death care over here. So I'm going to shove... I might shove them right here. Just like on that little road there. But that's just going to help this area out a ton, which I think is great. We were seeing some like major fluctuations in how much this was selling. So right now it's at negative 288. But the last time I looked at it, it was selling like $4,000 worth. So I think it all depends on when, you know, metal and things like that are produced and when they get sold. Okay, so on to ore. Back to the front here. We have these workers' barracks. Workers' barracks increase work efficiency in the workers in the industry area. Each building increases the worker efficiency by 5% to a maximum of 100%. Auxiliary buildings need to be placed inside industry areas. 0 pollution, 25 noise pollution, 40 workplaces. I am thinking that these are power plants right here. the pollution in this area is localized to kind of this area here, and I think it's going to extend out here. But right here, we have this sliver of land where there is not noise pollution related to our folk producing new stuff. So why don't we're going to ignore whatever's happening right here for some reason. Why don't we go ahead and let's... Is that enough space? Of course not. Of course not. Like, why would I place on the first try enough space for things to be built? This is probably too much space. I'm really liking this median, by the way. It's grass lined, which like isn't something we need here, but I think I want a grass line median all the way along this road. Let's just do a normal tree line. Even though the pollution's going to get to it. Okay, here's how we do this. We do a regular up to here, but where the trees are is where the barracks can go. Because this area we know is not polluted. We're going to base it off of this side. Oh, and we can perfectly fit 3. Love that. And then I'm going to come in here with a line of chestnut trees. Those are not the chestnuts. These are the chestnuts. It's a lot of them. But I think the benefit to this is it kind of can help with the noise. And then we can also upgrade our tree line roads to have chestnuts on them. Gorgeous. We've unlocked... Oh, we unlocked a factory, didn't we? Was it this? Industrial steel plant. Yes. This is exactly the kind of factory I want. Now the question is, do we build this industrial steel plant over here? Or do we build the industrial steel plant down here by the port and use this area to do our like massive factory production that then gets shipped out from here? So that's my question for you guys. Should the industrial steel plant go over here in the port area? Or should it go over here with the hickory ore extraction site? Or should this just be focused on extraction and things of that nature? We still have tons to unlock here. Let's do... Now, what does this have? This has a capacity of 400,000. This is a capacity of 300,000. And has a few additional freight trucks. And the upkeep is double, but, I mean, for $48 a week, the upkeep is pretty menial. I think this is the one we set to empty. We did. So let's go ahead and pause. We're actually going to remove this entirely. And it's going to mess up our worker count and everything, but I'm okay with that. And I want to replace this with 2 of these. They're both still on the main road. We did not want to do that. We want it to go this way, but this road is now going to be a bit inconvenient. So here's how we're going to do this. You know what? We're just going to do a little magic of move it. We're going to send this straight on back. We're going to place these 2, what are these again? Ore storage facilities right there. And then we're going to use move it and move all of this. We have this node. We have this node. Let's keep snapping on and just shimmy this straight on back. That's perfect. So now we've got these storage facilities there, which also means, ooh, this actually was a good move because it also means that this now can be reworked, this fence here. We can back this all the way up. We can grab this fence and then just send it straight on back. Turn everything but angle off and just go boop and send it straight on down. Great. Okay. Now, in addition to all this, we've also unlocked a few new ways of, or at least one new way of extracting materials, which is the small ore mine underground has 19 workplaces and produces 6,400 units per week. In comparison, this has 3 freight trucks, 13 workplaces, and this had how many? 19. And this produces 4,800 units per week, whereas this produces 6,400. So it has more workers and produces more. Is it a bit larger? It is a bit larger. However, we could replace, I think what we do is we replace, Can this move here? Not really. But because we have like this cliff here, I like the idea of replacing, I think, 2 of these. Or what we could do instead is let's send this road straight on out. Let's send this road straight on out. How many units across is this guy? Like if I wanted, let's do it this way. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I can count this side, I guess. It's like 10 or so units across. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And like that's kind of, or maybe 9. So maybe this goes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that goes here. We then can move these ones. Even if they overlap a little bit, I think it's actually going to look better if it's a bit more crowded. So we're going to keep all those producing the same, but then we're going to add in, I think, 2 of these ground mines over here. Because, you know, we are on a hill. I mean, I guess they could go even further back, but that's okay for now. That gives us all that. Now let's use the little trick of adding in some water pipes to fix the roads, because I still don't know what's going on there. There we go. Water should travel through that. Let's just make sure that's working. It is. Beautiful. And now we're producing more ore. So these guys are both set to balance. I'm going to absolutely set one of these to empty. This guy here can stay at balanced. I think this is also going to be set to empty. I don't need things to be in either of those. With that, we have more than enough space for workers. We've got an efficiency bonus and less pollution. We're going to wait for more resources to be made. I think we also want to go ahead and make some glass while we're thinking about it. How big is a glass production facility? Quite large in comparison to some of our others, but I think we could fit 2 in here and we could send them right off of this road. So let's send this out 18 and maybe even send it up a little bit. And I'll tell you why in a second. Can we fit... We can't fit 2 here. Oh, but we could fit them this way. That was not what I was planning. But I'm okay with that. If we fit 2 this way, and then I think with Anarchy on, let's go ahead and just force a curve next to this. I think it just looks a bit nicer. Do we want another intersection here? That would be 3. Is it too many? No. Maybe? No, it's not. Especially if on Davies Boulevard, we set it up so that the other roads applies stop signs on connecting roads, applies yield signs. How far did Davies Road go? Is it just this little section? We're going to go ahead and set yield signs to those. Applies all traffic rules for high priority roads, customizable option. I haven't done anything with that yet. But now we've got yield signs so that the traffic on this road can be the priority. Since it's glass, I think we can store our glass outside. For now, we're going to fill both of these with glass and just call it a day. I don't like that this is a little bit cutting through. There we go. We'll just lower that. And I also think I'm going to turn off the snapping here. I'm going to move these forward a bit so they look a bit nicer. And I think the same is true for this one. We're going to move this forward a bit. There we go. And we're actually going to move this, I think, entirely. Hold on. This is going to come down this way. So it's right up here on the edge, because then I can place in a bit of parking just along this route. Increase the land value of this area, but also just give it a bit more life, because it's going to have some things moving around. Other than that factory, I think that might be everything we unlocked for this level. Yep, that's everything we have for this. What is this guy? Waste disposal. Oh, I do remember that. Nothing here we really need. I'm really, really happy with this factory that we've unlocked, but I just want to figure out where we want to put it. I'm thinking port, but I mean, it could be cool to like rework some of this maybe even and like have this, you know, going down this direction. You can see it from the highway, or have it just down here even. You see it from the highway, you look off, you're like, oh, there's that factory. And then we could think about setting up a cargo line that would come from here and could presumably kind of follow this mountainside, landing over in the port and then heading out this direction. So that's another option.
Geologists predict that a sinkhole could strike at any minute. Residents should take precautionary measures.
We're getting a sinkhole. Exactly where, though, is unclear. Finally, a disaster. Knock on wood. I can't believe I just said that out loud. We're about to hit the next level. 1489. We're almost there. In a matter of moments, we're going to reach the next level. I did a little bit of detailing right over here. So we're going to slow this down. I added in some... Oh, beautiful. We got the new levels. We got seabed mining vessels, medium ore mines, electronics factory, and a rotary kiln plant. I added in some just containers, a little bit of greenery right here, as well as some trash over this way. I put some like loading bay doors back here, and I have a prop for this, but the prop doesn't look great. So I gotta find another truck. When I zoom out, the truck turns bright pink, which is not ideal. And then we have that little bit of business, put in a little fence, nothing extravagant, but just a little bit of something. So let's jump into what we unlocked. We got, let's look at this guy. The electronics factory, I think, is so cool. What does it need? Plastics, which I don't know if we're producing yet or not. We'll have to go check. But we have glass and we have metal sheets. So we're going to have to work on this area as well soon because, these have been destroyed, but that's okay. We don't actually need them. This area, North Can oil fields, not producing plastics yet. So something we're going to have to come back and work on. I think I'm too far. I'm just right. This is perfect. Here we go. All right. So we're really emptying these out pretty quickly, which lets me know that we have more than enough space. 8 trucks are in use. 9 trucks are in use. Over here, 8 trucks are in use. And so we have more than enough space to have a few more production centers. So before we even look at that electronics factory, which we can't actually use anyway. Oh, here's our sinkhole. All right, over by the port. This area is
somewhere in the city. Stay out of harm's way and contact authorities with any information.
There's the sinkhole. Decent sinkhole. Boopity boopity boop boop boop. We're still at 85 traffic, which is amazing. And this area seems to have sorted itself out, which is even better. Let's grab this guy. So this rotary kiln plant, that's not what I wanted. I want, here it is. I want the medium ore mine. So this is going to produce 8,000 units per week. So it's producing basically double what this guy was producing. And it can have 15 workers. Not a ton of workers, but that's okay. I would like this. You know what? Here's our little mountainside here. So I'd like these to kind of be facing this direction. And since this little area is all production anyway, I think we do 1 and 2 next to each other. We just have 2 of them back here along this edge. And I think we're going to need to finesse our terraforming just a bit. Let's smooth. Give me a little bit more here. And let's just begin to smooth this out. Okay, I'm happy with that. So now we've got even more production over in this back corner. They're already watered up, which is fantastic. I do think that we could benefit from maybe a little bit of terrain paint. Do I have a sand? Like, what is this? Oh, yes, exactly this. Works for me. This district button loves to just jump up, and get down. Okay, so producing tons now. We're level 3. Production, we're making 24 tons of ore. 55 acquisition. 24 tons of ore is going to output 8 tons. Of that 24, 8 are going to metals and 8 are going to glass. So we've got pretty decent array there. But because we've just built so much additional, we're going to want to build one of these rotary kilns, which is going to produce even more metals for us. So let's, it's big. Okay, that is a large building. I'd love to have this over here. I don't want to get too much closer to those guys. So here's what we do. We back up our road a bit. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start curving it this direction and then send it out straight a bit. We're going to reconnect this road. Great. And now this gives us more than enough space, I would think, for this guy. I mean, it's still ginormous. But getting to this point, I am comfortable with this being on the main road, because at this point, this main road is servicing this area. It's going to connect up somewhere over here. I would think it might even connect up to this section somewhere, or it could just kind of connect right into here. I'm not sure yet. Or I just like that it's on an angle. For now, it's going to go here. It's going to be on an angle, and it's going to be off the main road. I'm okay with that. Let's give it some water, because it's the only way to seem to fix this road issue we have, but I'm glad we have some solution right now. And then we're going to also want to kind of just clean this up, because it's a little crusty back here. We don't want that. With this being a production building, it is producing metals. Metals get delivered to this larger factory, which is currently set to empty. I think we're going to go ahead and set this to balance so that we have some there. These guys are both holding glass. They're both set to balance. One of them we're going to set to empty. So one is just going to start selling the glass as it gets it. This one's already at its more than balanced. So it's going to keep selling that. This is producing 3,900 units per week, 3,900 units per week. This is producing 3,900, 3,900. And then this is going to begin producing 7,800, which means that this guy is really going to start seeing an increase in how much ore it's got. But I think that that's where we're going to leave this here. It's not done yet, but we are moving and grooving. We've got more than enough workers, which is amazing. And we have a pretty significant road ahead in terms of getting basically more than double what we've produced in the whole time we've had this area set up. So that's going to keep working, but I like that we've got some development over here. I would say we could maybe benefit from putting in a few shops right here. We're going to do like a big smattering of them, but then we're going to break this up really quick before too much builds here with a road or two. Let's do two of them right next to each other. So that way we've got a little bit of extra business over here. We've got this connecting road. I don't believe I need to connect these middle guys. We have an avenue over here that's connecting everything up. The new highway expansion looks nice. Belmont has been expanded, and we're really getting some nice production over here, which I think is going to fill that out nicely. What we got to think about is what's going to go over here in this corner peak. I almost am tempted to have Belmont actually continue over to here, and this to be some houses as well. And we also have this new road here. It doesn't do anything just yet, but it is connecting up, which is nice. Is there pollution in this corner? No. So this is what we've done. We've gotten our ore industry. I think we want to start thinking about our oil industry as well that Johnny Cannon had built in one of our previous parts over there. And then that can help us kind of inform what is going to happen here with the port. Let me know. Biggest question for you to answer in the comments is factories. We've got this electronics factory. We're not ready to build this yet. We don't have all the materials, but if we build this, where does it go? And I think a bigger question is, we can go ahead and have an industrial steel plant. Should we place that here, or is this already kind of beefy enough? And should that industrial steel plant go over by the port? So let me know what you think there about that. Let's turn these guys back on. I'm leaning towards putting it by the port, but I also am curious if you guys, what you guys think. Did I miss any of these? Here we go. No wonder we have like some death care problems. All of our cemeteries have been turned off because everybody keeps dying. Any more of those symbols around? This one's full over in Sunset Heights, so let's start emptying that. I just love that we're like burying the bodies to then just dig them up. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you all in the next one.